the worst birthday gift you ever got? Thought I was getting a bike for my 15th birthday, but my foster parents announced that they were sending me to a group home after living with them for 11 years. Devastation! One time I received an invite to a restaurant from my dad. The same year, he offered my brother to pay for his trip to Japan. Ooh, rough. That's some minor, favoritism going on. My own scarf. Yes, that's right. My mother went into my room, took my only scarf, wrapped it, and gave it to me like it was a new scarf. HR complaint from 2 subordinates fighting over how to throw me a surprise birthday party. A lint remover. I was 12. I mean, what do 12-year-olds really want? I mean, a Nintendo? No. My grandma got me a hairbrush with a plastic horse head handle. The horse head was all chipped up and there was hair in the brush. My grandparents have been gifting me and my brother the same set of 3 vice grips for almost 10 years. Collectively, we have 60 vice grips. I don't know if they bought a pallet of them or where they're coming from. Get a grip, Grandma! Hey everybody, welcome back to Ask EmKay. Let's just jump on in. Disney theme park characters. Have there been situations where you had to break character? What was the reason? Consequences? I auditioned to be a face character at Disneyland and made it to the stage where they run through scenarios of unruly guests, rude comments, etc., and you have to respond and come up with responses in character. My dance teacher was a face more than 20 years ago, and she had all kinds of stories of people trying to reach up her skirt. She was Pocahontas mainly. In the end, I'm glad I didn't make it through. At the time, it was like barely above min wage, which was like $6.75 an hour or something like that. Oh yeah, definitely not worth it. If they can't break character, does Rapunzel get to hit perverts with a frying pan? On a Disney cruise, I met a guy who looked exactly like Peter Pan. When we asked him, he said, "Nope, Peter Pan has brown eyes," or something like that. The next day, when we went to get a picture with Peter, he got super close and whispered, "See, Peter has brown eyes." Hands down, best Disney employee I've ever met. He was also Pluto. I hugged the snot out of Stitch a couple years ago, and I'm pretty sure that I heard a squeak. If you're reading this, friend of Stitch, I'm very sorry for hugging you so hard. I watched Jack Sparrow talk to a kid when the kid started puking everywhere. He said, "Too much of the old apple juice, eh? Been there myself. Even ran out once." All the while, the kid is just projectile vomiting everywhere. Also, disregard that very bad Jack Sparrow impression. For those who grew up poor, what did you consider a luxury? Going places during school vacation. The kids would be all like, "What? You've never been to XYZ amusement park?" No, Trisha. My family doesn't even have a car, which is another luxury to me. Lunchables, LOL. My parents never knew why we wanted to get those for our school field trips. I remember being extremely jealous when kids pulled them out during those trips, especially the pizza ones. Quick PSA, I don't know if Lunchables changed it, but the pizza ones, bad. I had it recently. Horrible, bad, awful. Being allowed to turn on the heat during the winter, and also being able to hire a professional to fix broken appliances, plumbing, etc. I got pretty excited to be given my own bed. That is a pretty good one. Having breakfast. It's gotten to the point where I can't eat in the morning because my body is so used to waiting. A hot shower. Cold showers were always available, but when you scraped enough cash to get some diesel fuel and got the burner to kick on long enough to have a hot shower, man, absolutely nothing better. What is a movie you find terrible but critics seem to love? Girl on the Third Floor. I don't understand how this giant piece of has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. SpongeBob, Sponge Out of Water. An 81% Rotten Tomatoes score with a 54 audience score. If you want a SpongeBob movie, watch the original 2005 movie. Infinitely better. Alright, I will agree. The new one is okay, but it's not the same. Shakespeare in Love. Alright, no need to elaborate. Not me, but my dad. He absolutely hates Snowpiercer, but it's got fantastic ratings and a great director. Even after rewatching it, he still just doesn't get into it. I'll admit, the first time I watched it with him, I wasn't huge on it either, but I've rewatched it many times and it's one of my favorite films now. The Lion King remake. The CGI is absolutely gorgeous, I can't deny that, but going to hyper-realistic lions made the movie lose all of the charm the original had. There's a complete disconnect between the emotions the voice actors were going for and what the lions were showing due to the fact that real cats/lions don't have a wide range of facial expressions to portray human emotions with. What do you consider the biggest threat to humanity? Willful ignorance. Yeah, that can be dangerous, but it is really funny when you're using it to troll people in video games. Ugh. Incompetent/malicious leadership. Most problems listed in this thread stem from that issue. Short term, Short-term, geopolitics. Long-term, oceanic eco-collapse. Apathy. Depends on the exact use of the word in this situation, but I suppose I can see it. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Ooh, yeah, that one could be real. Crab people. They're not a danger to humanity, they're just trying to help us evolve. People who cater to the super rich. What things have you seen? I briefly worked with one of the top Saudi Arabian crown princes in the 80s. He would buy out the top 3 floors of the best hotels, Four Seasons, etc. 2 floors were for maids, help, and security. Top floor was for the royal family. Once, it was only the prince and his 3 wives. Crazy shit. I used to work for a billionaire Russian family as a tutor for their daughter. One day, we were in her room studying and suddenly she yells, "Daddy's home!" Runs to the window. She heard a helicopter and knew it was about to land on the lawn. My dad's client bought a whole block of houses to build theirs. It is so wide that they installed a moving walkway like the ones at airports. Oh my god, nobody needs a house that big. I'm an art student working as a gardener. We work in one of the wealthiest areas in my country. Some customers are really eager to show me their collection of artworks that they have hanging on their walls once they find out that I study it. I remember one time standing in a bathroom with my dirty gardening clothes and there was a Picasso above the toilet. A friend from high school worked a few years as a deckhand on yachts in the Mediterranean, and he said he once jumped in to get a customer's bag and got tipped €4,000. What's something you'd love to see but won't be alive for? Personally, the explosion of the sun. That'll be interesting. The discovery of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Halley's Comet. It's not due for another 40 years, and I'm not sure I'll live that long. I'd love to see the day that renewable energy is so efficient and cost-effective that every building can generate its own energy supply. Ugh, me and you both. The Earth's magnetic pole flip. What would that do? We'd just die, right? I would like to see humans leaving the solar system, or I would like to see the highways fixed without multi-year rollouts, making it the safest job you can have in America. Just what happens? I want to know what happens to all of us in 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years. If given the opportunity, I'd time travel forward, not back. What seems harmless but is incredibly dangerous? Me when I'm hungry. I'm gonna get ya. Walking along the train tracks. It's crazy how fast millions of pounds of freight can sneak up on you. Having a small snack before a medical procedure that requires anesthesia. Intubation can cause you to throw up your food and you can choke. Pool covers. It's like being wrapped in a bedsheet underwater. You cannot get free and you cannot scream for help. Once you're in, the only way to get out is to be incredibly lucky and get free, or have faith that someone saw or heard you fall in and hope that they get you in time. It's a lengthy, terrifying death that's completely avoidable. Having a loose animal in the car. A safety instructor once told me doctors had to dig dog bones out of a person after it got between them and an airbag. Well, I just unlocked a new fear when I'm driving with my dog. Confined spaces, above ground, or worse, below the surface. If you do urban exploration, caving, or anything like that, get a 4 gas detector. Clip it to your chest or belt and set the alarm to max. If it makes a sound, get the f*** out, or you are going to die. Eating raw or uncooked kidney beans can make you very sick or even kill you. It only takes like 3 undercooked kidney beans to ruin your day. What's the most high-risk, low-reward thing you've ever done? Moved across the country for a guy. Got married, now divorced. Hate it here, no family. I swam in the Zambezi when I was drunk on a tiger fishing trip. Still can't believe I was that stupid. For those that don't know, it's infested with hippos and crocs known for taking people. My friends and I used to target and steal those signs that said, if you are caught stealing, you will be prosecuted. Many illegal things were done and many hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff was ignored to steal increasingly difficult to obtain paper signs. Jumping onto a bus that was pulling away from the bus stop without closing its doors. The bus is every 10 minutes. Climbing up a water tower when drunk to find a friend. Turns out said friend was not even lost. He was yelling at me from the base of the tower. I stole every wheel off the chairs in my high school's computer lab as a joke during a 20-minute break. I still have one of them. Probably could have gotten expelled just for a slightly funny joke and a useless chair wheel. Balanced on the top rung of a 6-meter ladder to change a light bulb at work. Yeah, you couldn't get me to do that at all. What basic, children's age level fact did you only find out embarrassingly later in life? My mother used to feed me dark green lettuce as salads. I loved it when I was a kid. I think I was 17 and I had a friend over for dinner, asked my mom for seconds of dark green lettuce. Friend looks at me like I'm a fucking idiot. You mean spinach? Moms had been fooling me my whole life. Not me, but in college, my buddy asked me how to spell smorning because his phone didn't recognize it as a word. He then goes on to say, you know, like this morning. I asked, do you mean this morning? I thought robins, the birds, came out of hibernation at Christmas time because that's when you see them on cards and stuff in the UK. I did not realize for a very long time that you in fact see them all the time, like normal birds. I was in my mid-30s before I realized that the turn your head part of turn your head and cough was so that you didn't cough on the damn doctor. I always thought it must have flexed some particular muscle or something. I don't know. To my credit, I am a man and I don't think I've ever had to do that. One day I had a light bulb moment. Pickling is a process? You can pickle anything? So what are pickles? I was gonna blow so many minds with this question. Turns out it's cucumbers. And everyone on the planet knew that except me. I always thought the term the coast is clear was the ghost is clear. Transparent. Oh, I guess I can see where you were getting that. Chocolate is now illegal. What is its street name? Hirsch. Hey man, you got some Hirsch on you? Look man, I'm just trying to get me some Charlie Brown if you know what I mean. Mud. Oh dude, you wanna go get some mud later? I don't know how to be a street drug guy. Yo, you got any of that Kinder? Look man, I'm just trying to get hooked up with some Willy Wonka if you feel me. Days on day. I feel like the better one, oh no, cause chocolate's illegal, so you can't say chocolate rain. I guess you got a point. Dog poison. Yeah man, I gotta poison my dog. You got anything to help with that? Crazy Cocoa. Isn't that what they use in Cocoa Puffs? Cause that one bird goes cuckoo for Cocoa Pebbles. Wait, you have to fight an exact copy of yourself to the death. How do you outsmart yourself? Distract that fat with cake. I sheath my weapon. We learned this back in 1989 when playing Prince of Persia. Megaton Hammer. I let myself win so that the surviving one, we are copies, is unharmed from the experience. I tell him that someone he is friends with thinks he's annoying. Oh yeah, one hit KO. It's I mean for me? No way. Pocket sand. My ace in the hole. Works every time. I'm pretty dumb, so outsmarting myself should be easy. What's your childhood mystery that you finally solved years later? That the brown part of bread doesn't contain the nutrients. It's just the more cooked outer layer. My brother lied to me to get me to eat crust when I was a kid. Well, at least you eat crust now, right? You're not wasting your food, right? I have a memory from when I was 6 of an old man cracking jokes with the kids and spitting his dentures into his food. I thought it was hilarious and knew this man was named Frank. Casually mentioned it to my grandmother. Turns out I was remembering my great-grandfather and that day was my great-grandmother's funeral. Ooh, kind of a bummer. I visited my dad when I was 6 or 7 years old at the place where he worked, or so I was told. I remember remarking at the time and people laughed at me because I said it looked just like a prison. The people laughing were the guards and I was indeed visiting my dad at Terminal Island Federal Correctional Institution where he was a federal inmate. Ooh, that's a harsh truth to learn. When I was 4 years old, I found a snake skin at my town's local park. My parents made me put it down. It wasn't a snake skin. Oh, yuck. Who's doing that in the park? My mom used to call us for dinner by yelling out the back door from the kitchen. I was in middle school before I realized the scream door was actually called a screen door. John Travolta was actually John Travolta, which really made a lot more sense. Oh, but Jontra is kind of a cool name if you think about it. A magical pet store is open, but the good pets are too expensive. What magical pets you find in the discount section? A cat with telekinesis. It only uses its power to knock stuff off tables. A raccoon that does the dishes for you, but has an attitude about it. A wise talking owl, but it only tells you random useless facts. A parrot that repeats your thoughts. Oh, that one's scary. A dog that quacks. Yeah, that's definitely a clearance dog. A chameleon that inverts their surroundings colors. Now, what's the scale and radius of that effect? Like, will it change a lot? A pet rock that teleports wherever you are. I guess that's kind of interesting. A bunny that lights small fires every time he sneezes. He has no control over his power and a mild case of hay fever. Aw, poor little guy. I mean, I could deal with some fire. I'll take him. What is something you spend a ton of money on that the vast majority of people never would? I think I'm in the top 1% of chickpea consumers. $200. I can honestly say I've never eaten a chickpea in my life. Art supplies. More than half of it remains unused. I just like looking at them. Effect pedals. I took some to a friend's house a few weeks ago for a stoner noise jam, and he said, "What is that? About $2,000 in pedals?" I was about to push back as it seemed absurd, then I realized he was right. Fencing and fencing accessories. Not the barbed wire type, but the stabbing people with long pointy metal sticks kind. Chicken feed. Those little buggers are just stomachs covered in feathers. I was going through 200 pounds a month for a while, even though they free range and eat everything they can find. I like to collect fossils and pretty minerals that I spend way too much on, but it's my hobby and I love it. Dungeons and Dragons dice. Dear God. The Sims franchise. $700 plus down the drain for pixels who say DARPA dabble dips. And look at the time. We've come to the end of today's video. Once again, my name's been Brandon, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.